Hi, nice to see you again and thank you for watching this video. Let's get to it. So, are you developing an app or are you thinking of developing an idea that you have, or do you already have an app or a solution out in the market that you'd like my opinion on? Please comment in the description and let's get in touch, and I would love to assist and where I can, so yes, this video is all about the technical considerations that I would use to build an app or a digital solution. A quick disclaimer is that here I'm just giving a general overview, a basic rundown, but it's definitely not my full list. Yeah, I hope that it does help you. And again, if you want more information or you'd like to go further, please do comment in the description of this video and let's discuss this further. Let's go. So number one, and just starting it off from the basics, you need to think about your login and registration. This is not easy, and most people think that it's quite a simple process, but it's really complicated, especially when you take into consideration GDPR and POPI Act. These are laws that govern the way data is protected and proliferated from a user. So to be honest, also with regards to the Apps Up 2020 contest, most of, in fact probably all of the apps that were judged did not adhere to these laws, which is a massive red flag. The second on the list is actually one of the criteria from the Apps Up 2020, which is user experience. This is, of course, your basic rundown as to how you experience the product, which is something that is determined highly by the UI, which is the next element of the solution. The UI is basically how the interface naturally moves in between functions and features and so forth. So this is pretty crucial, because if there are too many clicks when it comes to web, or in terms of mobile, if there are too many touches to execute something, it just becomes cumbersome and it's not natural, and users won't enjoy that and probably will stop using your product or your app and find something that's better. So this is a very important area to keep a lot of your focus on when you're developing your app or your digital solution. The next two on the list is kind of depends on what you're building and what you're developing. But if you need geolocation, what geolocation services are you going to be using? How are you going to be getting that location, and what locations are you going to be storing, and how are you going to be using this information? This is probably going to dictate, going back to GDPR, if you really need it or not, and if you should do it or not. Payments. So if you're selling products or people are buying off your app or your platform, there's a lot to actually consider here, because there are quite a few providers, and each of these providers have their own requirements. They have their own commission and payment structure, and also when you take payments in, you actually have to have a refund process or a dispute process in place. So this is something that a lot of people actually don't think of when they're first developing their idea, but it's something that obviously needs to be considered before you roll out something. And part of the geolocation and the payments, you have to then put in the logistics element. So if it is a physical product or something you would deliver, you've got to kind of have all of that set up already. which brings me to a very good segue, and that is the security behind everything. And this needs to be tested. This, you're dealing with people's data, and if you do become a very popular service, if your security is not in place, you're going to be landing in some really big trouble, and that is not a good place to be in. Bugs. So debugging and testing out your service and your product is so important, because have all the bugs been found? Where are the bugs? So this is something that you would definitely need to go through. So the last point, before I get to my final point that I would like to speak about is, and I think it's not something that's really big right now, but it's going to be big in the future, and that is your accessibility as a company and as a service offering. What I mean by that is, how are your clients able to contact you and resolve any disputes and any errors that might arise? There are a lot of big companies out there that make it so hard for you to connect with them and to resolve anything. I think in the future, if this is not corrected by them, slowly their clients are just going to leave. So if you're developing an idea or an app solution, make sure that you have a level of transparency, that your clients are able to connect and contact you very easily, and that you will actually respond and deal with these issues. The final and biggest consideration when you're building an app or a digital solution is the digital infrastructure to your solution. A big part of, especially in the app world, is how will you develop that app solution. I'm going to give a quick rundown into the three main platforms in mobile app industry. And the first one, of course, is Apple with iOS. And the second one is Google with Android. But Huawei have their own platform called HMS, their app gallery. And in my opinion, the HMS app gallery is super powerful, and it's a fantastic package that they offer to their developers. Well, I call it a package, but it's not really a package. But essentially, HMS has probably over 30 kits now, the last time I counted. Kits such as AR, machine learning, push kits, notification kits, ad kits, search kits, map kits. And this all adds to the performance of the app and what the app is actually capable of doing running natively on the device, which is a good way for me to bring up your development process. So if you're going to develop for one of the platforms, especially if you can develop for 2 or 3 of the platforms, we develop natively for Apple, for Google, and for Huawei. You are able to, so when we started with Huawei and HMS, you were only able to develop natively, but of course that has changed. So now you're able to use cross-platforms such as React Native, Flutter, and I think I saw Xamarin. But again, my suggestion is always to go native. It's always to go native. So that's, I think, what, 10 tips? 10 tips of technical considerations that you would use when you're developing your app or digital solution. I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment if you feel I've missed anything. Again, I've just given a basic quick run overview, but we'll be happy to chat further. If you need any assistance, definitely let's go for it. Thank you so much for tuning into the series of videos. This is the last video in the series. If you haven't watched the other videos, they will be in the description of this video. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll definitely see all the videos and all the next bunch of videos that I'll be releasing. Thank you so much to everyone that's been viewing and sending through your comments, and please share if you feel anyone would benefit from them. Take care and see you again soon. Bye bye.